Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube चैनल स्टेनो चैम्प। गाइज, इस मैटर की स्पीड होगी 100 WPM। गाइज, बी स्टार्ट आफ्टर 10 सेकेंड, 5 सेकेंड, स्टार्ट। Honorable Deputy Chairman, Honorable Ministers, and distinguished members of the August House, when I first entered this August House as a member in 1998, I never had even the faintest of the idea that one day I would have the honor of presiding over as its chairperson. This is the beauty and majesty of our parliamentary democracy and its strength as well. It can lift a commoner like me to such an exalted position and offer opportunities to discharge onerous responsibilities that go with position. I am truly humbled by the honor bestowed on me by the honorable members of Parliament by electing me as the Vice President of India, by the virtue of which I have been charged with the responsibility of Chairperson of Rajya Sabha. I am grateful to all the concerned for reposing faith and confidence in me and entrusting such responsibility to me. At the outset, I would like to assure all of you that I shall be my endeavor to live up to your expectations. Before I elaborate on my thoughts as the chairperson of this august house, I would like to briefly reflect on the origin and the role of this Federal Chamber of Parliament of India. With its roots in the Montagu-Chelmsford Report of 1918, the Council of States first came into being in 1921. Further, to the Government of India Act 1919 as a second chamber of the then legislature with a restricted franchise. Subsequently, there were extensive debates on the need for this house in the Constituent Assembly. It was considered that a single directly elected house would be inadequate to meet the challenges before free India. Accordingly, Council of States was created as a federal chamber, that is, house elected by elected members. An element of dignity and prestige was accorded to this chamber by making the Vice President of India the ex officio chairman of the House. The learned members of the Constituent Assembly envisaged this chamber as a house of reflective and evaluative reasoning. Late Sri Iyengar termed it as a house which can reign in passions of the moment. Late Sri Loknath Mishra described it as a sobering house, a reviving house, a house standing for quality, and the members will exercise their right to be heard on the merit of what they say for their sobriety and knowledge of special problems. Every election gives the winner a mandate and the opposition the responsibility of ensuring accountability of the executive. Parliamentary democracy is all about members, but it does not necessarily mean that we reduce the functioning of our legislatures to a mere numbers game. The play of numbers should stop with the formation of governments, and thereafter it should be resorted to only in the rarest of the rare cases. An emerging economy like ours should be guided more by a shared destiny in the functioning of our legislatures. Honorable members, all that the people of our country desire is that the Parliament should be the voice of sanity, echoing their concerns and finding solutions to their problems as the best way forward. Over the years, both the Houses of Parliament have done a reasonably good job. But somehow there is a growing concern and resentment among the people over our functioning. We need to seriously introspect over this palpable discontent with the people saying we are not doing enough still. We need to set an example for state legislatures by making suitable amendments to the way we speak and act here. Effective functioning of the House is all about time and space management. Both the Treasury and the opposition benches have defined space and time slots. We need to adjust ourselves within these set limits of time and space in the interest of better results. All that is needed is an attitude of give and take on the part of both the sides. This is possible through staging for effective functioning of the House rather than for its disruption. This needs an enlightened approach on the part of all concerned. Unfortunately, obstruction and disruption of the proceedings is increasingly being chosen as the first parliamentary option in our legislatures across the country. This has serious implications for our parliamentary democracy. This option needs to be immediately replaced by a quest for effective debates and discussion to resolve issues and finding solutions to the problems being faced by our people. How do we do it? We don't have to do different things to make good use of opportunity of being members of this august house. All that we need to do is to do things differently, and that is by intentionally and passionately debating and discussing the issue rather than resorting to obstruction and disruption. Stop.